E360 TV proudly presents Messages of Inspirational Stories TV show. Live streaming now to millions of devices around the world on Roku, Apple TV, Amazon Fire TV, Android TV, YouTube Live, Facebook live streaming. Our shows are available video on demand on these channels. And we broadcast daily, Monday through Friday at 4 p.m. Eastern Time on these channels. On Mondays, Expanding Your Business. Tuesdays, Natural Health and Wellness. On Wednesdays, we cover mentoring our youth. And on Thursdays, our new show, Ideas Worth Knowing. And on Fridays, Women in Leadership. To be able to watch our television show on your favorite device, please go to e360tv.com and download the app for your favorite device. Brought to you by our producers and hosts, Jim Grant and Donna Guinois. Along with our host, Beata Severin Reed and Emerson Brantley. Supported by our admin team of Michaela Vidal and Gaia Guinois Balconi Weda. Hey, and welcome to the show, ladies and gentlemen. The Messages of Inspirational Stories is proudly brought to you by those guys over at the 6minutewebinar.com. And we're also brought to you by the ideasworthknowing.com. And let me share very quickly a little bit about both of our sponsors here, if I may. The 6minutewebinar.com has been it's been a standard of ours ever since we started the show. They've been with us. But what they actually do is enable you to be able to communicate the core value of what you can do to help your client or your customer. Because so many times we want to tell them everything. And all they want to know is just like, well, get perfect example. How many times have you gotten in an email or you saw an ad, you go like, that looks interesting. And you click on it, and then they want to take you on a big, long journey of all this nonsense, too much information that you don't need. You just want to know, hey, what can this do for me? And can you help me go to the next level, solve my problem, whatever it might be. The 6-minute webinar has an introduction, a body of clothes, and a call to action, all within 6 minutes or less. Because remember, people value time more than they do money. And ideas worth knowing. My goodness gracious, I am so honored to be associated with Mike Lewis and Mr. Emerson Brantley on that. And let me get the link up here because we got some good news for you. Here we go. Visit our sponsor and receive your complimentary 10 books. You can see it on the marquee. I'm reading this. They're at library. You get your library card at Ideas Worth Knowing. Now, what Emerson and Mike did, Mike is a publisher, a book publisher. He's got over 1,000 best-selling authors on Amazon, New York Times, you name it. He decided to get in touch with all these authors and say, we want to take a section here, a section there, and kind of like do a series on chicken soup series. And it works out great because for individuals, whatever the topics that you're interested in, you can be able to tune in there, get your complimentary library card for 10 free books, no strings attached, no future emails on trying to sell you any type of a lotion potion pill or book or how to become an author or anything like that. It's just giving back. And feel free to take advantage of that. I'm quite honored for them to come to me and offer me a deal to be part of our TV show. And Emerson and Mike hasn't been able to be with us over the last few weeks due to health issues, but Emerson and Mike, they host the Thursday show. So that being said, I've got my brother here by a different mother, and his name is Professor Dr. George Grant. And let me get my glasses on here, ladies and gentlemen, and act my age. We know better that I've been acting my intelligence. That's not going to happen, not on this show or any other show. But here is Mr. I see him laughing at me. Hey, you are. Here you are. How you doing?
I'm doing great, Jim. How are you, brother?
Doing fine, doing fine. Just plumb proud to be here. Very thankful to be here. And I'm also very thankful for you folks out there in TV land that's tuning in to be with us today because we're going to talk about something that's near and dear to my heart. And that is literally my heart. Because, ladies and gentlemen, I went through a series of, I didn't even know I had a problem until George scanned me with the AO scanner. And it red flagged my heart. And I had just been to the doctor and had a complete physical. And I went back and had some blood tests for something. I don't know. I think I had an ingrown toenail they wanted to look at or something. I don't know. When you get to be a certain age, every time if they're going to look down your throat, they want a blood test or something. But, and I'm being a little facetious there. But anyway, they told me I was great. No problems. I'm good to go. And there's a very interesting medical report that was published, and it's online by the UCLA Medical Department back in 2009. I think it was June of 2009, George, if I'm not mistaken. And what it said was that 75% of the people who wind up in the ER with a heart attack had no previous problems at all. Their blood pressure was good. Their cholesterol levels were good. Triglycerides mine was a little high, to be honest with you. But there was no really red flags to say, hey, you better watch out. But that AO scanner that Dr. George Grant had, it red flagged it. That thing is just like a little, share a little bit about that little thing here. Okay, you hear me say something? 1, 2, 3. That's what you do for about 15 seconds. And you share with them how they work. First thing it does is read your condition, and it helps you get back in frequency. But I'm going to let him explain it because he's the doctor. You get the doctor in the house.
Thank you very much, Jim.
Yeah.
It's basically a virtual frequency voice scan.
Mm-hmm.
It takes 15 seconds to scan the voice, which is voice print, almost like fingerprint, almost like the iris print in the eyes. After 15 seconds of voice, the device takes that 15 seconds, make an algorithm from the frequency. It'll detect and correct some of the frequencies in the bodies and provide 220 pages report about that voice. And that indicates any free radicals, any inflammation, any problem with the stress that can affect the heart, any triglyceride, LDL cholesterol, any markers that we can actually take and then try to correlate this with the potential causes for heart disease. Because as you mentioned, Jim, the first sign of a heart attack is basically sudden death. So to prevent this, which is much easier than to intervene. I mean, I'm sure you know that prevention is much better than intervention. So we can all actually follow a 6 minutes, basically finding out what's happening through the Wellness IQ at the academyofwellness.com. It takes exactly less than 6 minutes to see what we eat, what we do not eat, and what's eating us for stress that can actually trigger heart disease.
Yeah.
And once we understand the exercise, simple things, and the kind of water that we drink and the food that we eat that can affect our heart, then we can take a proactive role to prevent heart disease. Because I believe if you look at the word health, the first 4 letters is to heal. So the heart and the body have the capacity to heal if we focus on proactive wellness approach.
It certainly does. And that's a good way of putting it. And I like what my doctor friend told me, because I said, I read where most doctors do not believe that UCA medical report that 75% of the people who wind up in an ER with a heart attack had no previous warning signs. And my doctor friend, he's retired, lives right next door. He says, Jim, That's because of one simple reason. When you're in the ER and you have a heart attack, the ER doctor is not going to call your regular medical physician, the family doctor. He's going to call a cardiologist. And many times, the family doctor never sees the patient. That's why. And it made perfect sense to me. And, in doing my studies, we're going to take a look at several studies here today. Dr. Grant is very familiar with them. In fact, he informed me about them. But in my research, ladies and gentlemen, I had to find an alternative, a natural alternative, because I felt miserable after I had my heart attack. I had to have open heart surgery and 4 bypasses and all that because I had the Widowmaker. That's a silent, silent killer. And so anyway, they sent me home with a bunch of medication, but I couldn't take it. I just didn't feel good on the inside. And of course, when you come home from a situation like that, your wife says, take your medication. And so I did, but I couldn't handle that stuff. It was driving me crazy. And when I say crazy, I mean, I wasn't resting well. I felt tight, like I was stressed and worried about something on the inside. And that's your body saying, hey, I can't handle this. So I had to start looking for other alternatives. And 2 things happened. I was able to find, the dandelion tea, which I'm a big fan of. And I'm going to tell you something about dandelion tea. It comes from the root of the plant. And all the cardiologists recommended take 2 cups a day or 1 glass. And I mix it, 1 glass. I got some right here, of course, and water and all. But I could not take the 2 cups or 1 full glass. I had to cut it because it really does help with digestion, let me say. And you know what I mean there. So anyway, I cut it back and it works great for me. And I found that if I take a cup every other day, once I've got it into my system, that's the perfect frequency for me. And then Dr. George Grant enabled me to get educated on a specific nutrient that had several studies behind it, 4 studies, as a matter of fact, about that would help me with the dandelion. It's a 1-2 punch as far as rebuilding the heart. And I feel great. And those studies are important because they're independent, aren't they, Dr. Grant?
Yeah, they're all independent, and they came from 4 different countries, Jim. They started in Germany with the Freiburg study and done at Freiburg University. And they done this study using basically healthy subjects to see how would these supplements that contain grapeseed extract, grape skin extract, resveratrol, quercetin, and protease digestive enzymes to help to unclog the arteries, to help to reverse heart disease and to prevent heart disease in the first place. And then after the study in Germany, the Freiburg study, they done a study called the Sterling studies in the US. And then they done the study also in Canada. And it's called the deprivation study. And they done also study in the UK. So 4 different studies, Jim, 4 different countries to show complete accuracy, the efficacy of those natural products that help to prevent heart disease, even to reverse, heart disease. And by the way, Jim, I'm not making any medical claim. I did work for Health Canada, FDA, CDC, and this is only for education purpose only. And by the way, we are not against the big pharma or any pharmaceutical industry.
No.
But I always educate my clients before they take any medication like statin for cholesterol or blood pressure medications, diabetes medication, to check on the side effects versus the benefits. And if the side effect is very high and the benefit is very low, they have to watch it and maybe look for other alternative or other natural products that can actually have much higher efficacy and much lower side effects or 0 side effects. So this is what we're talking about here. Yes.
You're exactly right, because even I communicated with my cardiologist, and I said, these statins are just not working for me and I don't feel good. I mean, Dr. Grant knows firsthand that he wasn't there when I had my operation and all of that, but I had my operation on a Monday, November the 1st, 2021. On Wednesday night, my heart went into AFib. And that's a lot of fun. That will wear you out. And they put me on AFib medication. I've never suffered from afibrillation or anything like that, but I had it then, and it took a long time to get me calmed down. And I was so tired afterwards, I couldn't even hardly go to sleep. That's how fatigued I was. And this is what Dr. Grant saw firsthand. That AFib medication gave me the shakes.
Yeah.
We were going to do a show, and I was still on that medication, and I couldn't move my mouse and click the button because it was like I just couldn't do it. I had the shakes.
Yeah. Yeah, it would be almost like having Parkinson's.
Yes.
And in fact, I hope Bob Tuttle can join us from Kaiser Research, because he had the AFib and we helped him out.
Oh, yeah.
And I hope he can join us. And also, I hope we can invite also my good hero, Jeremy Stone, who suffered from diabetes for many, many years.
Mm-hmm. And he's with us. And he's backstage.
We talk about wellness IQ here among 25,000 clients all over the world, Jim, in the past 45 years. Yes, I'm 73. I know I look younger. Thanks very much, Jim. But what happened is that the average score of the wellness IQ is almost like 55%. When I saw Jeremy Stone, his wellness IQ was 33. I said, Jeremy, something is wrong here about your eating habit. He said, I know that. And then in less than 6 weeks, his wellness IQ went from 33 to 83. This is 50 points improvement, almost like 2.5 times the initial wellness IQ. And his test here improved also dramatically. His voice scan improved. He has no neuropathy. He has no need for any medications, no need for side effects. And why would I have to tell you his story? Why don't you see if he's available to tell us his story? There's a strong correlation between diabetes and hypertension and also heart disease. There's a very strong correlation there.
Yeah, he's backstage right now combing his hair and getting his makeup on, but he'll be here in just about a minute. I just want to finish one comment right quickly.
All right.
In communicating with my cardiologist, I told him, what I'd found with these studies on the dandelion tea. And then he said, okay. He says, yeah, because he was aware that the statins in some situations were not the best alternative for certain patients, and that was namely yours truly.
Yes.
But to be prudent, he told me, he says, every 90 days, I want you to come in and I want you to have a blood work done.
Yeah.
And let's compare apples to apples to make sure you're hitting on the right path. That's the prudent way. And then after Dr. Grant introduced me to this great health pack, heart health, that with the Freeberg study, Sterling study, I mean, I just started reading up on it and I shared it with him. And, like the Freeberg study, I mean, participants saw improvement of 25 key health markers. Yeah. Many improvements were seen within 60 minutes.
Yes.
Health markers included free radicals, inflammation, blood sugar, triglycerides. Participants further saw an ideal, the furthest from the ideal saw the greatest improvement. And in my particular case, and Jeremy, you're going to give you about a 15-second warning here until we put you on stage. So he's finished combing his hair back there. I'm teasing a little bit. But many times, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, it's par for the course now. It's so often in the morning when I get up. Now, like with all vitamins or supplements or any kind of pills, I recommend you take it after a meal. Yeah. With me personally, I get up in the morning and I make my water and I'm drinking my water and I have the urge to go get that stuff and pop those 8 individual. They come in a pack. They got them marked AM and PM, so they knew that I would need that. I'm convinced. But my point being is that within about 15 or 20 minutes, not long, I feel energetic. I feel like I need to get up and move. And now we're going to bring a young man to the stage. He's got his makeup on. He's got his hair combed. And he's a great friend of ours. Here is Mr. Jeremy Stone. Welcome to the show, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic. Jim, how are you today, buddy?
Great, 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 great. Just plumb proud to be here. I guess you heard us talking about you back there when you were backstage. It was all good though.
My ears were burning, that's for sure.
Is that right? Hey, if your brothers can't pick on you, nobody else can. See, we're all family. You know the way that goes. You know, we can fight amongst each other. If somebody else wants to mess with you, we're talking war now. Come on.
Yep, that's
you
right.
you bring the bazooka, I'll bring the cannon.
That's right.
That's just the way that world turns. Welcome, my man. Welcome.
Hey,
welcome,
thank
welcome.
you. Glad to be here.
Thank you. And
Jeremy, I love your background creating breakthrough, because the breakthrough you have done in the past 2 months was more than amazing. I mean, how can anybody reverse his wellness IQ from low 33 to 83? And how can he release 20 pounds? And how can you improve your energy and double it? And how can you actually have any surge in blood sugar? How can you go from 400 to under 90 normal blood sugar? How can you prevent heart disease? Tell us, please, Jeremy, what is the secret here? How did you do all of this in less than 5 weeks? 4 weeks, 5 weeks? How is this happening? How is this breakthrough? This is like winning the Nobel Prize, basically, for scientists.
Well, I'm telling you, I wouldn't have believed it could be possible if I hadn't experienced it myself, Dr. Grant. It's, struggling with diabetes for so long. And just being able to, all I did was get on the supplements, the peak performance pack that we were talking about, and FiberWise and GC Control. And then I actually began to modify what I ate. I didn't want to eat junk food anymore. It didn't feel good to me when I ate junk food. It wasn't that I was like, okay, I'm going to starve myself to death and get healthy, or that, oh, I'm miserable, I have to have some vegetables or anything like that. It was actually that I didn't want to have the crack food anymore. It just, when I ate it, it didn't feel good. It made me, I realized, just how sick that kind of a diet was making me. And not that I, was gluttonous or ate like total bags of junk or anything. I just, I ate processed food, I ate boxed food, I ate canned food, like, most people do. And I just made a switch, and I began to notice that I had more energy. I wasn't hungry, so I wasn't like snacking on crackers or anything like that. I pretty much cut all bread out of my diet just because I didn't really want it anymore. It just didn't do anything for me. So I realized that once I started replacing, I was taking sugar to give me something that I was missing, not because I was missing sugar, but because I was missing key nutrients that, were to produce energy in my body. So, I didn't go into it looking to lose weight. That wasn't my plan, as you know. I just wanted to get my diabetes under control. I was concerned about the 6 medications I was taking. But, in 2.5 months, almost 3 months now, I've lost 21 pounds. And I wasn't even trying, not hitting the gym 8 hours a day, not starving myself to death. It just, when I replaced what I was putting into my body with good quality nutritional supplements, the fat was just automatically released.
Yeah, one of the things that Jeremy told me it really helped him was to get into a hot shower and sing opera as loud as he could.
Don't make me start telling stories about you, Jim.
I hear you. But ladies and gentlemen, what really impresses me about Jeremy's story is that he was able to prudently, in a positive way, and obviously he checked because he's checking his blood sugar daily. That's just like going to the doctor. So that's where the proof is in the pudding. And he didn't do anything radical. No. We are 100% against that, because if you don't know what you're doing, you can harm yourself rather than help yourself. And I tell people, I really, over the years, I studied into the world of herbs and natural cures for about 10 years. And one of the things that just gives me the shivers is for some guru on TV to pick up a certain type of supplement, be it I'm trying to think of the one that came to my mind there just a moment ago. But anyway, I saw something on memory, improves memories, about 2 weeks ago, and I was going to look it up, but I forgot. But but anyway, sincerely, he talked about like being the fountain of youth, and people just flogged to that. And resveratrol was the product he was talking about, and I'm thinking, that is so risky because what's good for the goose isn't good for the gander.
Right.
And like I shared earlier, what the cardiologists found in their studies about the lowering the like a repair kit for the heart is the way this one cardiologist described the treatments just by adding dandelion tea to your heart, to your diet. And that really got my attention, but the 2 cups a day was not a good formula for me. And that's why you have to be prudent. And I love what Jeremy did there in his journey, because taking his blood samples, that's the proof in the pudding. So he was able to do it in a very logical, controlled way without some abracadabra going on his own like a rogue or renegade, because that can you can get yourself in trouble like that. You really can. And Jeremy, let me ask you this, when did you start realizing that what you were doing, of course, you went to, let's put that website up here again. I want to say this is very, very important. Ladies and gentlemen, let me find it here. I've got about 29 of these things here. Right here. You go to this website here, book.academyofwellness.com. You can take the Wellness IQ survey. There's 10 questions, multiple choice. And when you get done, the answers will automatically be emailed to you in your e-box. But if you scroll down, there is that, and there is Dr. George's, special elixir for water. And you went to that, and of course I do too, but you started drinking that. And when did you start seeing things were kind of like, hey, I'm stepping out into the light from the dark, and I'm stepping out in the right direction, and I like what I see? And you know how you feel, because if your blood sugar is off, you don't feel good at all. I mean, that's I remember my son-in-law he was diabetic, and his blood sugar get off, and he'd get all goofy. He couldn't even think straight. I mean, we took him to the ER one time because it got so high. He was like a drunk. I mean, if you did not know it, you would think this guy, just got done polishing off a half a bottle of whiskey or something, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm just saying, he was in there, he's joking, hey, how you doing? And he was he was just, he was in orbit around Jupiter, you might say.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, oftentimes, periodically, law enforcement officers confuse somebody that's having a diabetic crisis with somebody who's intoxicated.
Yes, sir.
Because the symptoms and the what's happening in your body can be very similar to being intoxicated. So yes, I mean, I never realized, because I lived at such a high amount, I never realized just how sick my high blood sugar really made me feel. I always thought that having low blood sugars would make you have less energy, right? Because that's what sugar is supposed to be. It's supposed to be energy in your body, but it's quite the adverse. I have much more energy now that my blood sugars are lower and they're managed appropriately. They're higher. And if I do something, if I eat something that makes my blood sugar spike, I immediately now begin to feel the lethargy, how tired I am and how my energy is sapped. But to answer your question, it was about 3.5 weeks that I by that point, I realized that I felt comfortable enough to be able to stop with my medications. Now, that was my choice. Dr. Grant didn't tell me to do it, but here's what I have. And a little bit different than what maybe a lot of people have, is I actually have what's called a continuous glucose monitor that's, inserted into my body. So 24 hours a day, I can pick up a smart device and I can see what my blood sugar is. And with that, it also when my blood sugars begin to go too low, it gives me an alarm, an alarm sound, so that it warns me ahead of time as it begins to see my blood sugar dropping to what's a critically low point. It'll sound the alarm to tell me. And so I began to experience more and more of these low blood sugar alarms after 3.5 weeks, and I realized I needed to pull back my medications that were, also working to drop my blood sugar, because what I was doing with the nutritional supplements and the tweaks in diet were doing their job. It was doing things natural. Now, I mean, to be honest, part of the thing is to work in exercise, and I haven't gotten there yet where I'm working in exercise every single day. That's an honest thing, right? And so the fact that I lost the 21 pounds, without that it's just all natural. My body just doesn't need all of this stored energy anymore. And so it's releasing that. But it was about 3.5 weeks that I really began to be able to just get off of the medication.
I find that interesting because a lot of times in today's world, people want something to work within 5 seconds or less. Yeah. And if it doesn't, they're kind of like the lyrics of Shania Twain's song, I'm out of here, And for you to stay in there for 3.5 weeks, you kind of like had to keep the faith to some degree. I think a lot of the faith was built upon the fact when Dr. Grant scanned you with that scanner that you did not believe in, you thought it was kind of mumbo jumbo. But when he started telling you some things about your body that he had no knowledge of, I think that was the first thing that said, hey, I think I'm going to pay attention here. And then, because I got to tip my hat to you, because to stay with something 3.5 weeks before you start gradually seeing improvement, you got some stickability to you, brother.
Yeah, it's just like when I'm coaching my clients, it's about mindset, right?
Yeah.
I went into it, and here's the thing: you're absolutely right, Jim. The accuracy of the AO scan lended validity to what Dr. Grant told me, right? But I will be very clear: the AO scan didn't fix me, right? The AO scan didn't cure me. The AO scan, I had to take the knowledge that I gathered in the AO scan, the knowledge in my consultation with Dr. Grant. And I had to process it and apply it to my life, right?
Sure.
So that's what I had to do. And so, the AO scan lended validity, but it was really, when he began to talk to me about the potential side effects of all these medications that my doctors gave me, I'd never, before Dr. Grant, I had never consulted with or talked with a natural doctor, an integrated medicine doctor. I, like most of Western society, went to my medical doctors, do whatever they tell you to do, right? And that's kind of how we were conditioned. So I'd never talked to, so I was very unaware, but he told me things. Then I went and did my research on my own, right? I didn't just take what he told me, and I went and did the research on my own and realized that, I can actually do this.
Yeah.
And there are better ways. And something, that he said to me during my consultation that I share with people all the time that really stuck with me was, he was talking about one of my particular medications and it being carcinogenic, and it's one of the side effects being cancer. And he told me, he said, Jeremy, I would hate to make you choose between cancer and diabetes. And I share that with everybody that I talk to about this now, who I share, is that, there are things that we're putting in our bodies that really, what the medical profession does is they're trying to weigh the different evils, right? And which one might be less evil than the other one. And that's kind of where we're at. But I think, the fact that there's a natural way, there's natural ingredients that can assist so that you can either not take any of the chemical ingredients or maybe take less of it so you have less of a negative impact on your body. I think it's something worth looking into for people.
Yes. And another thing too, it gets me, Dr. Grant, and I'm not knocking anybody here, but it just amazes me how you hear about certain things and then you don't hear about them anymore. I mean, there for many years, you heard so much about the West Nile virus. You'd be outside, a mosquito bites you, and you go, West Nile virus, you know,
Mhm.
and now you never hear anything about it. And then I remember back in the 80s, there was ladies dying from toxic shock syndrome or something like that. And now I guess that's been, I don't know, but it just, the thing about it is that good health starts with good nutrition,
Yeah.
being prudent, and going to your doctor and getting tests done. And the blood test and the lab work and all that will tell you whether or not you're going in the right direction or not. And that's the prudent way of doing it because I was reading something that Emerson Brantley sent me on marketing, and he made a comment, and I wish I could think about it clearly. But he's talking about the restless leg syndrome. And he says that was just coined and made up. And he said all of a sudden it's a real problem. Everybody's got restless leg syndrome.
Mhm.
And so my point being is don't be misled by anybody, including natural gurus, because there's an old principle: profit over people
Yeah.
is 100% of the time effective in all areas. I mean, so be prudent. And what I really like about Dr. Grant, Jeremy, I know you're an expert in this. Ladies and gentlemen, if you go to Dr. Grant's website there, you see book.academyofwellness.com, and you're concerned about detoxing your body. We've been talking a lot about heart and health and diabetes and all that because those are two major issues, two very major issues. But at Dr. Grant's website there, he has a wise drink for complete detox. So if you want to detox your body and get rid of a lot of the toxins and chemicals and stuff in there, you go there, and here is the formula that he recommends. We're going to be talking about a half teaspoon measurement of each one of these ingredients. We got lemon, we got baking soda, we got apple cider vinegar, we got turmeric, we got ginger, we got cinnamon, we got cayenne pepper, and those 7 ingredients, think of them as lucky number 7. Add them to your 1 liter of water or your herbal tea every single day. And then you know what will happen? You will be just like Jeremy. You'll get in that hot shower and sing opera as loud as you can. That's one side effect of it. We're to give we seriously ought to give that drink a special name because there's 7 different half teaspoons. Let me go over them again right quick. Make sure I counted right. Okay, I'm gonna let you hold up your finger and count them for the audience there. Dr. Grant or Jeremy can, both of you can. But let's take it from the top. A half teaspoon. We got lemon, baking soda, apple cider vinegar, turmeric, ginger, cinnamon, and cayenne pepper to 1 liter of water or your favorite herbal drink. You drink that every day, and it's amazing. And see, it takes a combination of things like that. Give your body is a processing center, not a recycling center. It took me a long time to learn that because I figured out in my 50s, I could eat the same way I did in my 30s. But if I took supplements, good herbs and echinacea and whatever I needed, I mean, hey, I can eat like I want to and get the nerve. But I was wrong.
Yep.
And I found that out in a class that I was attending at a college. And the guy looked at me and he says, I hate to tell you this, Jim, but he says, you got your wires crossed. And he could talk to me like that because I didn't take offense. I said, really? What do you mean? He says, you can't eat what you want and then take supplements and think you can turn garbage into recyclable material. Your body is a processing center. It's not the landfill. And that woke me up. But that was the kind of talk that sometimes we need to hear.
Yes.
And we need to embrace that because sometimes Dr. Grant may say something to Jeremy or to me or to even you for that matter. And, if it rubs you the wrong way, so what if it keeps you out of the graveyard?
Mhm.
You know, only dead people don't complain.
It is really as simple, Jim, as you said it. You can call it the anti-aging detox elixir. This is something that to cleanse your kidney and to cleanse your liver and gallbladder. All of the
Yeah.
ingredients, they are available in every kitchen. It's not expensive at all. It's every kitchen have all of those ingredients, as
Right.
you mentioned. If the persons do this and take the supplements, guaranteed, proven, published, predictable, and priced reasonable, if we can reverse heart disease and we can reverse diabetes
Mhm.
in under 3 months, then the whole America will reverse the biggest challenges that affecting the health, which is heart disease and diabetes and also obesity.
Yeah.
So if we can do this, we can make the America healthy again. We can make everybody prevent and manage diabetes and blood pressure and heart disease naturally without having to depend on operations, medications, radiations, all of the stuff that, I mean, there's room for emergency medicine doctors. I
Oh, yeah.
work with them. I publish books with them. I publish papers with them. In fact, yesterday I was lecturing with some of the top doctors and scientists in the world in a conference, open forum on healthcare conference. And we shared information, and everybody likes my presentation, which about reversing dementia, reversing heart disease and diabetes, and so on. So everything can be reversed if we can control free radical damage, inflammation that cause all of these
Yeah. Yeah.
initial problems, that we can always reverse it. Because
Yeah.
as Jeremy was talking about energy starts in the mitochondria. It's subunits in the cells. Once we have a healthy mitochondria, we have more ATP, adenosine triphosphate, more energy. So if you have a healthy cells, you make up healthy tissues, you make up healthy organs, and then you create a healthy systems. It's the bottom up, not top down, way of doing things.
Yeah.
Because that's, by the way, that's how you build a house. You put foundation first, and then walls, and then roof.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, in allopathic medicine, we have a physician, we have a doctor for every organ. So we have a cardiologist, we have a nephrologist, we have endocrinologist, we have a psychologist. For every organ in the body, we have a specialist, right? But in natural medicine, integrative medicine, we focus basically on healthy cells, tissues, and then organs. From
Yeah.
the bottom up,
That
not
makes
from the top down.
sense.
So that's integrative medicine,
Yeah.
and that is functional medicine, which is the disease of the gut. If we have a healthy gut, we have a healthy brain, and we have a healthy heart, and we have a healthy pancreas. As simple as that. And now the focus in every major clinic that I worked with, including Cleveland Clinic, Johns Hopkins, the Mayo Clinic, and Harvard, they focus now on integrative medicine, IM, functional medicine, FM, and lifestyle medicine, which is LM. That is the focus now. Is going to be the medicine of the present and the future.
Absolutely. And inflammation, I've known this for many years, and I'm just going to say something here. If I need to, if you need to correct this on me, I'm not making a proclamation or anything like that, but inflammation that seems to be the first thing, or the breeding ground for all disease, for all of our problems and all that, because with the getting back to the dandelion tea, just do your research on that and be prudent about it, and do things in a moderate way. You're not going to soak your body in a bathtub full of dandelion tea. Okay, that'd be foolish. That's what I mean by that. So, but they were saying it reduces the inflammation, and they started talking about the inflammation in the liver before they started talking about the heart.
Yes.
Because if you got a lot of inflammation in your system, it's kind of like the old saying, it's kind of hard to drain the swamp if you're fighting alligators, And if you're able to get rid of that inflammation, and you're detoxing your liver, and you're drinking Dr. Grant's seven-star elixir, that's what we were to call it, the 7-star elixir.
I like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Jeremy said that to me telepathically. We're connected like that.
We can measure all inflammation marker using virtual scan, AO scan here.
Yeah.
And the one that is most important is not cholesterol, because cholesterol was never the problem. The problem is when the cholesterol, LDL cholesterol, gets oxidized. That's going to start to clog in the arteries. But the cholesterol is not the major enemy at all, because all of our sex hormone come from cholesterol. The biggest enemy we have is an inflammation marker called CRP, C-reactive protein, that comes from the SAD diet, standard American diet. So if you live on Twinkies, if you eat Auntie Jamima and Uncle Ben and all of the KFC and French fries and you drink the soda, these are the toxic stuff that cause high CRP, high inflammation in the body. So what happens now when you have high inflammation, you're going to have stress. You're going to have free radical damage. Then you're going to start to have breaking down of the cells, tissues, organs, and systems. System could be the pancreas for diabetes. It could be the heart for the heart disease and so on. So this is the thing that we need to tell people to do. Eat healthy food. Watch every bite that you eat. It could be actually extend your life or it takes away years from your life. Every bite that you eat. So you have to be conscious about these things. How? Doing the wellness IQ, doing this, and doing regular CBC blood test, and ask your physician or doctor to do CRP test, and something that is so important, Jim and Jeremy called homocysteine test. Homocysteine is one of the key measurements for heart disease and diabetes. When you have high homocysteine, you have less methyl B complex. The reason I want to stress the methyl, not everybody able to absorb B complex until it's methylated. So if you take methyl B complex, you lower homocysteine. What's the B complex? It's B1 thymine, B2 riboflavin, B3 niacin, all the way to B6 and B12 and folate. Once you take the methyl B complex, which is very expensive supplement, actually costs $10. Once you take that, then you lower homocysteine, and then you have no risk of heart disease. And you don't need to worry about cholesterol at all until you prevent the oxidation of the LDL cholesterol.
Right, right. Yeah, that's what, that's where the problem comes in. Yes. And, if you notice down there for great water, the 7-star formula, yes. We got to give that a 7-star formula because that's something else. We might want to take that show on the road. You know what I mean?
Yes. Jim, I think this all comes down to really, Dr. Grant is super smart. Your medical doctor is super smart, but really you can't do it because Dr. Grant tells you to. You can't do it because your doctor tells you to. I think that the majority of people have done a couple of things. One, they've either left their health to chance or they've left their health to their physician. Yeah. That's it. And we got to take it back, right? Yeah. We got to take back control of our health. And,
we got to own it.
We have to make those choices that are right for us. We need to weigh the information that you receive, weigh what you receive from us today, weigh what you receive from your physician and apply it to your life, but take control back of your health. You're in control of your health and don't let anybody else be.
There you go. I like that because you're exactly right. Because
100%.
Because when you control your diet and you make up your mind, just like Dr. Grant was talking earlier about, all these things that, are side effects, you could easily see what I was talking about earlier when I talked about I can eat like I want to in my 50s, like I did in my 30s and take supplements. Well, you're just muddying the stream. You're adding mud.
Absolutely, Jim. There is not a single supplement in the world that correct for bad diet.
That's right.
And bad drinks. If you take the best supplements in the world and your diet is very bad, then nothing we can help you. But you got to start with a wellness IQ. It's a simple 10 questions, and you got to do this like Jeremy did. He was 33, now he's 83. Am I correct, Jim? Jeremy?
That's correct.
33?
That's correct.
See, this is how it starts. And I told Jeremy to eat something like sweet potato and put cinnamon inside. And you know what, Jim, you mentioned about dandelion, turmeric, ginger, all of the stuff. You can make a tea out of it. You can drink it. This is really how you detox your liver. Could you believe that 65% of Americans have fatty liver? Non-alcoholic fatty liver. It's not to do with alcohol. It's to do with toxic substances that affect fatty liver, that can cause fat gallbladder, that can cause toxic kidneys. Now, by the way, when you meet somebody with having removed their gallbladder, then they have no bile anymore to produce bile. Like if you remove gallbladder, there's no bile. So the liver now will take the toll to replace the gallbladder to produce more bile. But the liver is going to say, I'm so tired. I cannot produce any more bile. Please help me. This dandelion tea, the turmeric, ginger, lemon, apple cider vinegar, cayenne pepper, almost like a sandpaper, cleaning all of the liver, allow her to function normally to reduce CRP, to reduce homocysteine, and then to reduce something called galactose-3, and all of the stuff that we can check with the AO scan, virtual scan, and with the CBC blood test, and so on. So if you've been watching this show today, July 4th, Independence Day, contact us so we can do this scan for you at less than half price. In
Mhm.
July only, it's going to be $100 instead of $250. You invest in yourself. Invest
Oh,
in
yeah.
this detox water that is not expensive. It's only in your
Mhm.
kitchen. Invest in this supplement that we're telling you about, less than $70 per month.
Yeah.
Invest in your health. Like, Jeremy Stone was just basically so compliant about all of our recommendations that we give him. He had
Mhm.
remarkable results, creating breakthrough in his life. You know
Mhm.
what, Jim and Jeremy, if we do this to every American who suffer from diabetes and heart problems,
Mhm.
we will be the healthiest country in the world.
Oh, yeah.
With 50% of the population have no diabetes. Can you imagine one day we can reach that goal? We are on a mission here to eradicate diabetes, heart disease, and heart attack. We are on
Yeah.
a sincere mission. That is what
Mhm.
actually killed my mom at age 45 when I was 18 years young. I'm on a
Mhm.
mission for this. I don't want to have any teenagers at 18 years without no mom
Mhm.
and no dad. That's what led me to study the 3 bachelors, 3 doctorates, 3 masters, because I don't want to get things on the wall. I don't want to be, I don't have the ego to do this. I just want
Mhm.
to learn for myself how I can be like preventing heart disease at my age now, young age of 73. Okay.
Mhm.
And can I share with them your age, Jim? You're young, 75 also?
I'll be 75 in August.
In August, you're going to be 75. By the way, you look
Yeah.
10 years younger.
Mhm.
And the only person who's older than all of us here is Jeremy. Jeremy is actually 85. He looks
Right.
45.
Yeah, when I cut the camera off, I look real good because I've been told, ladies and gentlemen, that I have a face for radio and a voice for newspaper.
Oh, well,
By the way, laughter is the best medicine.
yeah.
I'm trying to get my camera back
Today's
up.
episode is all about the heart, Jim.
Yeah.
But in reality, I think, if we're to encapsulate everything that we've talked about today, is that no system, no organ in the body is an organ or system of itself, right? That
Right.
everything is interconnected.
Yes.
Mhm.
And so the largest organ for the body is the skin. However,
Yes.
the largest organ inside the body is the liver, right?
Yes.
The
There
liver
you
is the
go.
largest
Yeah.
organ inside the body, right?
I know what the
leading
smallest
causes-
organ is in my body. They told me.
yeah, the
Brain.
leading, the leading cause of heart disease,
Took
according
them
to
3 days to
CDC,
find it.
is high cholesterol
Mhm.
and high blood pressure, right?
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
what regulates the LDL levels in your blood? Your
Oh,
liver, right?
Yeah.
Your liver does. And so everything's connected. And so when we do this
Mhm.
total approach to nutrition and to health, we're
Yeah.
affecting
You see-
everything.
That ties me right back into reminding people about the AO scanner, how it checks the voice frequency of your body, and this voice frequency really does measure everything, and it corrects the frequencies that are static, if I can use that phrase.
Yes.
And therefore, all of the things that Jeremy just mentioned there, they got to be in perfect harmony. It's a win-win situation. You go there at Dr. Grant's place, the book.academyofwellness.com, you see there, and you get right down that formula, the 7-star formula there, the drink there, and just try it. But do everything in a prudent way. And it's so important because you cannot eat Snickers and drink healthy water and think your toenails are going to shine. The world doesn't turn that way, okay? Your toenails are not going to glow. They might look yellow and ugly, but they're not going to glow. But I mean that sincerely because I know people who they have a half-hearted attempt at their health. They'll get a little healthy, conscious once in a while, but see, health is just like finance. It's a lifestyle.
Yes.
It really, truly is. And we're committed to that lifestyle, not only for health, but also financial wellness. And, with us, everything that we do is focused on improving your health. And think about the win-win situation in that. If you can improve your health and at the same time start improving your financial security in life, that's a pretty good deal where I come from. I mean, You know, Jeremy, you know exactly what I'm talking about there because people want to live healthy and people want to have, good finances. They really do. And we
Yeah.
have access to both worlds
Yeah.
with the AO scan. I mean, that's a triple. We'll do the three circles there. With the AO scan, I'm gonna let you work on that, Jeremy. You didn't know I was gonna give you an assignment, did you?
Yeah. So we can
Well,
all
I'm
be.
serious about that.
Yeah.
I'm very serious about
Yes.
that because that's what it takes. That's what it
Yeah.
takes because you owe it to yourself. And if you doubt that, ladies and gentlemen, for 1 second, don't take my word for it. All you got to do is go on YouTube and listen to this story, The
Yeah.
Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale.
Yes.
And remember one thing, your mind cannot determine whether something is good or bad for you. It
Yes.
really can. It's like the soil. You can either plant a poisonous vine or you can plant corn. The soul's got no choice but to give you back what you gave it. It's just that simple. So that's
100%.
what we're talking about. So be sure and get in touch get with us there. And Jeremy, I don't know if we got your email up here or not. I don't see it here. We'll have to get it next time. Anyway, but just mention Jeremy to Dr. Grant or me, Dr. Grant there, and he knows us pretty well. And
Actually,
he'll get,
Jeremy's information is on the book.academyofwellness.com.
is
If
it?
you look at this website and you scroll down, you're going to find Jeremy's information. He's my actually partner in wellness and he's a business coach.
Mm.
And we're here to help people to live healthy, wealthy, and wise to
Oh yeah,
111 and beyond. Can you imagine? What
yeah,
else would you
yeah,
need? Well,
yeah.
we just need basically love and sharing because if you
Mhm.
have the sharing aspect, if you have the service, by the
Mhm.
way, service and love is the highest frequency and highest vibration you can ever have to serve
Mhm.
other human beings.
Yeah.
It's
Oh yeah.
all about suffering from your family history or from
Mhm.
other family members about
Mhm.
these heart disease or diabetes to give
Oh
you
yeah.
that strong drive to do this. So
Mhm.
let's all eradicate heart disease and diabetes and blood pressure naturally the best way we can is through love,
Mhm.
learn, let go, and leave a legacy. This is
Mhm.
what we want to do here. It's really leave a legacy of wellness to the world.
Okay. All right. Well, ladies and gentlemen, our time is gone. On behalf of Jeremy and Dr. George Grant and myself, we want to thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure and listen to The Strangest Secret by Earl Nightingale because you are worthy. And be sure and go to Dr. Grant's website, book.academyofwellness.com, and you'll be able to take that survey, get in touch with Dr. Grant, and get that AO scan for half price, less than half price, normally 250 down to 100. Uh, but most importantly, pick up on that great formula, the 7-star formula, because it's there on the same page. Just scroll down and it's there. And you'll be glad you did. Our time is gone. We want to thank you so much for tuning in on behalf of the 6-minute webinar and Ideas Worth Knowing. We sincerely thank you for tuning in. Be sure and share this program with someone that you know that could benefit from this wonderful knowledge. We'll see you next time. Have a good evening, a good day. Whenever you see it, we hope that you and your loved ones are blessed in all areas of your life. Bye-bye.